Welcome to today's webinar on value-added services enable growth, Catalyze a competitive edge for broadband industry. I am Kishore from MindQuest marketing team and I will be moderating today's webinar. In this webinar, we will be discussing the trends in the revenues of ISPs and possibility of increase in revenues through value-added services. We will attempt to address various challenges in managing the business process with VAS offering. For this, I have Mr. Kashyapa Malladi with me today. Kashyapa is the business analyst with our organization and he will be the presenter for today's webinar. Before I hand over the presentation to him, let me introduce MagnaQuest. MagnaQuest Technologies is a 14-year-old company offering billing, CRM and service fulfillment solutions for broadband, IPTV, triple play and VoIP service providers. We have successfully helped more than 150 customers across 30 countries to automate their operations and to manage their subscribers. During the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the chat window to communicate the same. Now let me hand over the presentation to Mr. Kashyapa. Kashyapa, over to you.
Thank you, Kishore. Hi, as Kishore introduced, I am Kashyapa Malladi from the marketing team of MagnaQuest. Well, today's topic, today's point of discussion would be how value-added services enable growth and catalyze competitive edge for players in broadband industry. So before I start about the presentation today, I would just like to give you a brief about what it's all going to be about. We will be talking about various dynamics in the market, various trends that we are seeing in today's broadband industry, and what are the revenues, how are the revenue flows that are being in the industry players today, and we'd also see what are the pain points in terms of revenue reduction for broadband service providers and how they can be addressed. And we would also be proposing a few solutions, and we will be concentrating on one. As the name suggests, we will be concentrating on the value-added services. So without further delay, let me just start the presentation. Well, we have over the past few years, service providers were able to successfully mitigate many challenges. And over the past few years, they have reaped the benefits of commoditization of broadband services. They were able to meet the increasing customer expectations by giving them better quality of service, higher speeds. All this was possible, and they were able to gain a competitive edge. But these changes were quickly responded by the competition, which because the industry was growing very lucrative, introduction of many players increased the competition, and this also led to many once these dynamics changed, people also had many technologies at their disposal. Now when we talk about the importance of technology, many technologies were embraced by the broadband service providers, and their adoption became more than ever in the history. So end users started accessing network not just through their workstations. They started using through Wi-Fi on their laptops, or through tablets, Wi-Fi on tablets, or the enablement of 3G has also allowed people to use mobile internet on the go, which actually became a strong alternative to the conventional broadband business model. And people saw that these services were more lucrative than the broadband services that they had previously. So when we look at the effect of these changes on the revenues, or in a more specific ARPUs, or the average revenues per user for the broadband service providers, we see that there is a steady decrease of the average revenue per user because of the economies of the scale. People started using more and more people started using the services, and the service providers were able to give higher speeds at a cheaper price. Now when the price, as we all know, the mantra of a price in economy, the invisible hand of price started acting its way, and it led to lot of decrease in price, what resulted was the average revenue per user. And after a few years, broadband industry was in a vortex of this price wars. And for some of the reasons for these wars could be competitive pricing, or or increase expectations of the end customer, where they wanted better quality of service and higher speeds for the same amount or even lesser amount for what they paid a few years back. And this also, and markets are also do not have the capability of expanding unlimitedly. The markets also started saturating, and that was one of the bottom. That was where broadband industry hit another rock bottom in terms of subscribers. So, but it's always business always went on like ever, and people started searching for new avenues for enhancing their revenue. And in this market they found that markets like Africa or APAC or SAARC or regions like that, which did not have the amount of penetration like that of North America or Europe, were actually a very lucrative market. But the challenge in entering these markets would be you need to invest a lot of money into a relatively new place of business, which is a very risky investment. And many countries in these regions do not have a political stability. So there is no return for your investment that you are putting in into these markets. And in addition to this, as I have already discussed, people started using more and more gadgets. The last mile technologies required, or the demand for various last mile technologies has increased. Now we see that maybe a decade back, users had a choice to go for either DSL or an ADSL, nothing more than that. Now we see optic fibers, Wi-Fi, WiMAX, or 3G. We are talking about LTE today, and who knows, we might see 5G not too many years far. And this has actually complicated the whole internet or the broadband industry space. Now, apart from this, users have actually, service providers have actually seen that value-added services is another key area where they'll be able to make a lot of revenue enhancements because of the scope there is for the growth of the industry. So let us see how VAS is much better than the rest of the options that we have just spoken about. When we consider VAS, the typical VAS does not require any investment from the part of service provider, and the key of the success of VAS is basically the expansion, the possibility to expand the offering is unlimited. You can possibly have every service that the end user uses as a value-added service. Some of the most popular VAS offerings VAS offerings could be like VoIP, IPTV, or e-learning solutions, or on-demand solutions, on-demand content, or gaming, shopping. Many of these applications are something that an end user who is accessing the broadband always uses, a retail customer typically. So when we consider a corporate or a business is using the broadband, we see that they are using the broadband mostly for email hosting, CRMs, ERP hosting, or file hosting. And unified communications is also a very important part when it comes to businesses. So when the customers are using these kind of services, it makes sense in terms of both optimizing your bandwidth and increasing your revenues in tying up with these kind of solution providers to enhance your revenue. Rather than your customer going to a third party email hosting solution, why broadband service providers have started thinking, why not host the email with ourselves, or why not host the CRM or ERP with ourselves? That will actually decrease the amount of bandwidth that we are consuming towards outside the network, and it also brings down the cost for the end user. So it was basically a win-win situation which led to this VAS offerings. But these offerings need not be the VAS offerings need not be restricted to just this. As when the business needs evolve, the offering of the VAS also evolves. So when we talk about the key benefits of VAS in terms of for the service provider, this actually provides an increase in revenues. So when we consider the increase in revenues, it is directly proportional to the number of to the amount of to the number of services that you're offering and the number of subscribers you have. It is not like it's not like the broadband services where the economies of scale will hit your margins. It has nothing to do with the number of subscribers you have. It is basically directly proportional to the number of subscribers. So in addition to this, when customer is getting all the services that he wants from a single person or a single service provider, he would not be looking too many places. Hence, your customer retention has improved. Now, the third important point is your customer is not leaving your domain, which means your bandwidth is being optimized, and not just because your customer is not leaving your environment, but you also know what you would be using, which helps you, which increases the predictability of your customers and which optimizes your bandwidth. And in the fourth part, the channel partner network improvement is a very important thing in terms of increasing your business prospects, because you need not develop all the value added services by yourself. I mean, if we typically consider a unified communication services like conferencing, web conferencing, or audio conferencing, you might tie up with some third-party system who provides it, like Skype or Catalyze, which is a very famous conferencing tool. You can actually go for partnership with them, and you can go for a revenue settlement with them based on the number of users they are using through your services. Now, we can go on and on about benefits of having value added services, but we should also consider the real life facts of challenges in going VAS. When we highlight the key challenges in going VAS, it is important to see that the infrastructure preparedness or the maintenance of the infrastructure for the VAS, or the requirement for the VAS is met, which is one of the important thing. And the second thing is, VAS is basically an extension of broadband. It is not a supplement, nor it's an individual service by itself. So broadband will always be there, and if you are choosing to go for VAS, it's an addition on broadband. So you need a unified billing system for broadband and VAS. In a case where there is no unified billing system, it might lead to a lot of manual work or a lot of leakage in revenues, and this actually again reduces your revenues, so which is not good for your business again. So, and the third part is the revenue management in terms of sharing with your partners, where your partners, as I already highlighted this point in the previous slides, your partners, the partners who provide the actual services are entitled to a majority of the money that your end customer is paying. Now that money should go to them on an automated basis, rather than one of your accountants sitting and doing all the manual work. This is also a very important part when you're trying to expand your VAS offering across various domains and across multiple customers. In addition to this, flexibility in pricing of services is also very important. Now, many VAS services, I shouldn't say all, but most of the VAS services that we see in the industry today are a subscription-based services. Now, and when it's a subscription-based industry, you have price plans for that. You have multiple pricings for the region-based, for the area-based, and all this should be managed. In addition to this, your customer wants to know about what he's paying for, why he's actually paying for. These kinds of requirements, challenges are something that a broadband service provider should foresee before he goes, full equipped with VAS to his customers. So in terms of innovation for VAS billing, we speak about subscription management, where service providers need to manage their price plans, or define their price plans, manage their pricing, discounts, various activities like this. And in addition to this, they'll also be they should also be able to manage their customer information, which is like collecting the information from their customers, managing this information, etc. And now, in addition to this, contract management, billing management is also a very important part, where the customers should be able to enter, to choose the contract of their choice, and they should be billed accordingly. Now, the receivables and the inventory management also plays a critical part, where, of course, inventory is not relevant in a vast perspective, but we are talking about a broadband and a vast billing. So inventory management is also a critical aspect in broadband billing. And in addition to this, we also talk about process automation, which is a very important part in terms of automation of the billing holistic billing process. When we talk about MagnaQuest as a billing system, we also understand and appreciate the fact that OSS also plays a critical part in terms of billing in terms of our business process automation. So features like captive portal or authentication, authorization, and accounting or policy engines also play a critical part in terms of managing your business, where operation automation is also important. Now, to speak about, or to summarize whatever I have spoken in the last two slides, MagnaQuest is a unique billing system. The reason that we are able to serve both the broadband industry and the vast kind of an offering is MagnaQuest doesn't limit itself to just billing for services like broadband. It's a billing system that is designed to bill for any subscription based business rather than just one kind of a business. We also talk about a real time billing process, which is one of its kind in industry. You will be able to manage your price plans with very flexibly based on based on whatever price plans you have, whatever pricing models you want. If you want to give a time based discount, region based discount, you can absolutely do that without any problem. In addition to this, complex bundling of vast services is something that's a very important part, because let us just consider a triple play for this example. We see that let us imagine a service provider who is trying to sell the triple play through a single line let's say through a optic fiber. So when this happens, the end user is basically using broadband services, IPTV services, and VoIP services. So when we talk about this kind of offering, a billing system that you are using should be able to bill for all these services. It should not restrict you from expanding from one business line to other just because it can't support it. That is not a billing system that will help you be future secure. In addition to this, go to market is basically a minute's job with the help of MagnaQuest billing platform for any services, not be it VAS, be it for broadband. In addition to this, partner management is something that we completely appreciate in a broadband or a VAS scenario, and with the help of MagnaQuest billing platform, you will be able to define your partners, define the SLAs that you have with each of the partners, and your business process can be automated in such a way that whenever the partner related activity is activated, the according SLA will be applied to that without any manual intervention. So that is from my presentation part. So we would definitely be happy to take any question. I'm sorry. Questions if the attendees have. Kishore, do we have any questions?
Yeah, we do have a few interesting questions from our participant Kashyapa.
Okay.
First question goes like this: why does an operator need unified billing while offering VAS services?
Yeah, actually that's a very good question, and which I have also spoken about during the presentation. But let me just give a brief. When an operator is going with the VAS services, when these VAS services are introduced into the service offering, they should be billed alongside their broadband usage or broadband consumption or broadband price plans. Hence, the billing should be able to bill for the VAS, including the broadband, that will actually help the ISP to unify all the billing process for every customer. So absence of which can lead actually to revenue leakages and inefficient billing. So that is the importance of unified billing.
Okay.
Next question, please.
And second question, importance of partnerships in VAS billing models. Business models, sorry.
Well, partnerships in a VAS is something that we should, it's a very important in a VAS business, because broadband service providers rarely develop any solution and host it on their platform. They generally tie up with some third party system which they see as a good service, and their customers will benefit out of it, and they host it on their website or their environment and let their users use it. So this is a typical model that we are seeing. Yes, there are situations where broadband service providers develop, but that's rare. So in these situations where this partnership exists, the person who actually developed the solution is entitled to some certain amount of certain portion of the revenue, which should be done on a real-time basis. This is enabled with the help of a billing system like MagnaQuest platform.
Yeah. Thank you, Kashyapa. And as we are running out of time, we will have one last question here.
Sure.
And what's the additional OSS functionalities required for offering VAS?
Oh, okay. Actually, this is this is an interesting question, because I have spoken about OSS, but I haven't mentioned the importance of OSS in a VAS scenario. Now, let us just consider. I'm a gaming freak actually. I play a lot of games like NFS, or we all know about Counter-Strike. We have all played it in our college days. When we talk about a Counter-Strike, it's a peer-to-peer game that is hosted on a single platform. Now this platform should be able to manage in such a way that each player should have the specific sessions. Now imagine that Counter-Strike or any other game for that matter, the sessions are activated based on the amount of money you pay. Or like a poker, the amount of money you pay is the amount of money that you can see in your account. So this management of sessions should be done by a provisioning system. These provisioning systems are not available with broadband service providers because they are not typical gaming server providers. So these kinds of this facility or this ability of MagnaQuest platform to provision the sessions of any application, irrespective of whatever whatever function end user functionality that application does, gives the flexibility for the broadband service provider to give any VAS service to their service provider, to their end users.
Okay, Kashyapa. Thank you. That indeed was a good presentation, and hope we have answered all our participants' questions also. And we have got few questions remain unanswered. We will answer them through email. And thank you all of you for your participation and time. Thank you.